buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos noches, a todos en todo el mundo. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody all around the world. And thank you for joining us today for another Left 4 Dead 2 competitive shoutcast. My name is MK, I'm your caster and cameraman for today, and I am not going to be running solo. I'm running with the legendary caster. It is Rails Barlow. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing wonderfully, MK. Thank you so much for that introduction. How are you this lovely Sunday afternoon?
I am phenomenal, my friend, but I am so excited to be sitting next to you getting to cast this Fear Factory vs. Vaso de Leche North American ReBooT first round of the winner bracket double eliminations open road. No, Rails, I might call you now a few times, I'm sorry, but I am so amped for this one, and I hope it's going to be a slobber knocker or barn burner, whatever you want it to be.
Oh, I am absolutely hyped for it as well. That's one of the reasons why I'm here now that the playoffs are upon us. And yeah, I mean, obviously this tournament has a lot of talent in it. Fear Factory being the position that they are, because I used to be on the team back in the Maze Cup days for a brief second there, but this lineup that we have in front of us here with them being the #1 seed, anything is possible in the playoffs when you have teams of this quality going up against each other, MK, and that's why of all the games that I've seen, we were talking about this a little bit before we started talking to the audience as well, but, both these teams have been around for a while, and there's going to be some quality gameplay on Open Road because this is a classic custom map, but, there's member continuity on both sides here, and I'm not saying there's, like, the chance of an upset or something, but I'm saying that, after you get through the Swiss rounds, these kind of playoffs, like the top 8 and just the direction of the tournament in general, this is something that's going to be very, very entertaining for anyone who's watching it from anywhere in the world, really.
Yeah, I agree. And to add on to more of what you were saying about the teams, the question is, who is the underdog? I mean, Fear Factory definitely went undefeated. You can't deny what they have done. They beat all of their opponents. Vaso de Leche fought fearlessly just to be able to get some of their wins. And one thing, Rails, two of their wins came less than 150 points to determine the winner. And also, their losses were the same way. So they were just neck and neck on every game that they played to get to this point. And now it is playoff time, which means nobody goes home. But here we go. It could have 5 chapters of Left 4 Dead starting now, Rails. Let's start it off.
Indeed. So to start this off on the Survivor side, we have Chris, the longtime captain of Fear Factory, the captain of Fear Factory, I should say, Rising, Hikaru, and Gosu. And who do we have for Team Vaso de Leche, MK?
We're going to have, I believe that is going to be Life, Pee-wee, Manzana, and I'm pretty sure that is Cannoli. I could be wrong with Porta. I'm not sure if they're tagged up as the correct people, so I'm a little uncertain here. Here's going to be the attack going to come in. All the balls come from the back. Smoker lands. Charger is melted, but the Boomer lands at the end, and not much is going to come from that. It's going to be pretty clean from Fear Factory. Just some Boomer comments to clear up, and we should get into this tank before another special effective attack is up and ready to go, Rails.
Yeah, and just to clarify things, they're all playing with like between 110 and 130 ping, so it's orange. It's not red, but it's also one of those where, what immediately comes to mind when I think of this level of latency is like Envy or even like South Stars back in the day, and sometimes when it's orange ping versus orange ping, I still expect both Survivor sides to be great in this game. But you're going to have to kind of take that into the equation. This first tank here in the hands of KT and Porta is going to have to, essentially just try to play it as decently as they can. You already see the one dumpster getting hit into a good spot. But remember, on Orange Ping, these are some of the best people who have played this game in the past couple years that we have in front of us here today, obviously, just in a general sense. And even for them, it might be a little bit more difficult than it would be if it were on, just green ping. And with 2 hitables in play here as well, like I said, they got to watch those cappers because it's not going to be as reliable as having somebody with like 30 ping in a shotgun or 60 ping in a shotgun killing a hunter or something, okay?
Yeah, I definitely agree, but he's going to commit. This is going to be it. With the Survivor 3-1, he just takes the first punch. He goes for another zip code. Oh, he turn punches onto Ellis. Can Ellis get up in time? The hunter's going to cover. That'll be a rock throw. No, he's just going to take the punch. Takes a hit onto Ellis. Another punch onto Ellis. 2,200 HP. He stays with the rock down the other edge of the hill. He's going to have to back out. And I know he's going to hit the rock. Oh, that's a huge alley-oop coming up from the smoker. Haruki, unfortunately, gets himself caught up there. They need to focus down their tank, and it looks like he's going to die. One more rock. Not going to get it. That is a dead tank. And the smoker comes in. Charger going to go back for a despawn. Evaluation on the pickup here, Rails. But my goodness, it looked like it was going to be a no-win cap tank. And then the smoker alley-oop with a dumpster hit. And that'll be 40% gone post-tank. Not bad opening from Vaso de Leche.
Everybody grab a weapon.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been just like a almost one down tank with like the 3 or 4, like, you know, 72 damage, 96 damage, something like that. But instead, that hittable makes it, you know, a really, really good tank for that area. And a hittable like that with the assistance of the smoker, that's that effective chemistry being really, really good, as we see here as well with the charge spit landing. But that's the thing, MK. Vaso de Leche, they have been playing together for how many years is it now? Like 2 or 3 with the same 3 or 4 people, really. And like that kind of team cohesion, that's why people watch competitive Left 4 Dead 2, in my opinion, for matches like this, because you have that kind of cohesion where you can see the double caps and the triple caps. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at right here, because Fear Factory, you know, this lineup is pretty new. Hikaru does get the kill there, but as we do have this hit coming in, I mean, it triggered 2 spawns to go, now it's just a hunter and a charger, so maybe that was the play, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was shocked. I do have to make a comment. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much, but get back to the action. The Hunter's going to come in. Charger from the other side of the hedge. The 100's pouncing around. Charger waiting for the teammates to come in. Spitter's ready to get some action going. Charger goes early and gets deleted from the server, and going alone is not going to be fruitful for damage. And that is less than a nope, a little bit of common damage comes out. And Rails, the only damage from that is going to be the commons, and because the support kind of wanted one at a time.
You gotta save, pals.
Well, yeah, and this is something where I expect this kind of first chapter score from Fear Factory, like them wiping on that tank would have been totally crazy, but it is still a really respectable special infected round from Vaso de Leche, and, you know, I've seen teams score like 1,000 points, 1,100 points on this first map. If they can shut down the tank, you know, and like I said, I really haven't seen this lineup play as much. I've watched them a little bit over the course of this tournament, but, you know, classically, you know, for them, they've done as well as they have in this tournament by finding a way to make things happen. And on Infected side here, getting 2 in-caps or even a kill, really, like a kill would be something that would be huge here if the Infected can somehow pull this off. So anything can happen, as I said before, and at this kind of level with 2 teams like this, even though it's like, yes, Fear Factory are the clear favorites, don't immediately put Vaso de Leche out. What I saw on their special infected side, honestly, MK, was just that they look a little bit not overreactionary or like too quick to act, but like they were trying to punish that separation before, and I think they might have thrown away a partial quad or something close to it, right? A triple cap or a quad cap opportunity there. So let's see how they do on Survivor side, because that's where they are now.
Yeah, it's now Vaso de Leche. They need to put up half the points if they want to keep up with Fear Factory. They do put up an additional 408 on top of the 400 distance. And this is not a campaign you want to get wiped at. By having a map be 400 distance on map 1 compared to 300 distance is quite different if you're able to get a wipe on one team. But let's see what they do. Smoker alley with the Charger. Charger was not even close. The Boomer comes out, not even close either. And it looks like we'll get a tick from the Smoker, and that's looks like only going to be 9 points of damage coming out from Fear Factory, but that's just to soften them up a little bit for the tank, as it's going to be the first tank of the game for Fear Factory into the hands of Noro.
Oh, this chip.
Look at that. They push him hard, and now they're going to back up.
Okay, so I love the confidence.
I mean, Rail, it's a pretty good chip. Sorry, I'm going to do that once or twice.
That's fine. If I start calling you Kiss Me, though, that's when things are going to get wild. Anyway,
I'll be honored.
that chip going out right there, you know, I love the confidence from Vaso de Leche, because that's essentially what they do on Survivor side. A lot of these players in the past few years who have gotten really good, they're fearless with the Uzis. They have to watch the hittables, because that's exactly how that happens. But honestly, the kiting that a lot of players do on this orange ping really impresses me. And like I said, I remember back in the day playing against Envy. Now it's like a Corey. You know, you have these players from places outside North America who find a way to make it work and almost have like stronger MPs. How it felt back in the day. But this tank is already in the hands of Gosu for Fear Factory. As you said, Nora, and the Survivors are just ditching him. They are going forward and they are out of here, because he is on second pass. This is a little bit dangerous, honestly, you know, on the part of Vaso de Leche, but the hittable goes flying in. They have absolutely no fear at all. One Survivor will split. That is going to be the pull into the punch from the tank, but he's down to 2,000 HP, getting the corner over here. One of the SI supports is already dead. The Smoker also is now going to get a re-target onto one of these survivors. He goes off the tree and goes flying, but doesn't get in-capped as the Hunter lands. Everything that's going on right here is just classic Left 4 Dead 2, and that is a good amount of damage. But MK, I was really concerned there for Vaso de Leche for a hot second.
Ooh, yeah, they were risking the biscuit. How about it? They play all out. They play with the metal to the pedal, or pedal to the metal there. And unfortunately, they will suffer. The DB is now open. The Charger comes in from the back before I can even follow up. The Charger misses. They had an isolated survivor in the back. Jockey doesn't get it. Boomer waddles in from the front. And it looks like they're going to go quad, or they're going to hold this spit for the final hit after this event is triggered. It looks like they're going to go tri-cap spit. Just one damage there.
Yeah, I mean, what? They're going to wait, and I think the reason that they're going to wait is because they might have thought the SI were going for the quad, but Spit here, I don't know, I'm getting box truck vibes, MK. You know what I'm flashing back to, but that's what I'm thinking about right now when it comes to a situation like this, because the Spit can actually spread, I think, sort of well in the enclosed area that they're in. I mean, they might wait to kill some of the Horde, but, okay. I mean, they're bleeding. It's something where I like the patience, and I like the idea of, you know, okay, who's going to basically blink first in this kind of scenario? It's the Hunter, the Smoker, the Charger, and the Spitter for the SI, and it's like one more hit before the safe room, essentially. You know, and I don't know, because these common don't terminate, do they?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it just keeps going.
Yeah,
I think it'll stop.
I think they have to go.
Yeah, it'll start up
Yeah,
again.
yeah. There you go. Okay, so we'll see exactly how this goes now, because there are only 20 seconds left until there's another Horde, but it's not even really a quad here. They just don't want to take that much damage, because they can win the round with how much bonus that they have right now. So let's see. Waiting on the rocket spawns. Hunter does spawn up. There's the go-go coming in. The Charger's going to not be able to land, but they are going to get the pound spit in the back. Chris managing to land that hunt, and you gotta give him a lot of credit for Fear Factor, because it is his team. It has been his team, you know, for the past few years. So we'll see exactly when his tank is going to be. But right now, it's an effectual tie, MK.
Yeah, I mean, they ate the kills, so they're going to yield the lead a little bit to Fear Factory for now. So no matter what, Fear Factory will be on top. The question is, how much will the delta be with the final hit that they get? There is no Spitter. It's going to be very difficult for this Charger to do much of anything. Charger can't even find a spawn, so he's not going to do anything. He's just going to get melted. And they're going to walk in with about a 20-point delta. If no damage comes out, Rails, it'll be exactly 20 points after one.
Yeah, I mean, and Chris is going to try to get what he can here, but really, it's about the same amount of damage. I think it was 192 damage from both tanks. So that is going to be Team Fear Factory taking a slight lead, 808 to 788 into the second chapter of what I'm going to presume is map 1 through 5 of Open Road, right, MK?
Yeah, I'm 90% sure we're going to go to Open Road's finale here if it's close enough. But if it's not close enough, Rails, they're just going to GG. Because remember, a lot of the finales have been changed for Zone Mod. We only have one tank. This is the one that still has 2. So it's 800
I mean,
distance.
the open Road finale is classic. It's classic. That was 196 to 192 for the tank damage, by the way. So, but no, this is a match that has the potential to be extremely close until somebody makes one mistake. This is one of those matches that's so good that whatever team makes like one mistake, you know, maybe 1.5 mistakes, if you know what I mean, like they might be able to recover a little bit or something, but if something disastrous happens, it's very, very hard to ask for a lot of opportunities against Fear Factory in whatever form that team is in. And let's see exactly what happens here, though, because the spit does go off as the pounds land, and we do have that spit damage picking its way up, so I mean, that's a little bit of damage on the first 1K, but you know that cohesion on the special infected side, they're going to have something good for this tank spawn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I just noticed it's only 33%. This is going to be no aggression as far as from the special infected to spawn the tank. They do not have to go down the hole. Or do they? Oh, they do have to go down.
Right, typically I would have been talking about the choke, but they're going in now, actually. They're going to get a double cap with the Smoker landing and the Hunter. The Smoker not getting cleared until now. But the reason I say that is because they probably could have hit them a little bit later, like now. Yeah, I'm going to say that's a little bit of an error. Just a little bit on Vaso de Leche's side. I thought they were going to wait and maybe try to lock somebody down there, you know? But at the same point in time, I don't know if the tank would have been able to capitalize to them for the damage instead. What do I know? Anyway, the tank is up in the hands of Pee-wee himself, and this is somebody who, like I said, giving credit where it's due to Pee-wee as well. I know this has been his team in terms of Vaso de Leche. They've played against some very good competition, and they've played decently well in different competitions as well, MK. So if they can find a way to make this work, it'd be perfect. But the survivors are going forward on the special infected right now, as this hunter's going to go in and is going to land. I don't know. This is very interesting. Now the tank does have the chance to fight them down here, but I don't know. I've seen tanks get no hit by good survivor teams in the spot they just were. This is interesting. As well as an AI himself. But this is brave calling on the side of Fear Factory as well. It's the confidence from both teams is what you'd expect in a game like this.
And guess what? Pee-wee is in. He is inbound. Survivor's going to kite forward. Oh, he splits them 3 and 1. Rochelle separates from the team. Jukes a punch. Gets punched the second time there. Or the second punch. Oh, he stumbles the tank with a boomer's bump. Rochelle can't get out. Looks like it's going to be a 1-in-tap tank. Nothing additional. The SI support is shut down. And Rails, that is a standard tank coming out. And not only is it just a standard tank, but they're going to be able to pop kills and maybe even push this whole hit and not let them have spawn set up at the top. That's more important.
It's a good call by Chris. It really is. Because what I was thinking of originally is like, okay, you know, as long as the tank doesn't have multiple hittables, you know, I've seen teams, like I said, at very high levels essentially no-hit the tank outside the safe room. There's a little bit of spit damage going down right now, but aside from that, the survivors are trying to take this other ladder choke, because they managed to take the other one in the process of fighting the tank. Hunter's going to go in now, and it's going to land. Jockey on the top getting shot at by the SMG of Chris as well. Let's see what happens now, though, because the Charger is going to go and manages to land. M2 goes out. Just a little bit of damage there and a little bit more damage onto Ellis MK. But, you know, 1-in-cap, that's matchable by Vaso de Leche, but the pressure is now more on the infected side right now, I would say. Because the survivors have a good handle on what they're doing, even with the stripper bridge still being navigated.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really have a great hit set up for the hole. They had to burn the spit to delay them, but they still got about 8% worth of damage without the spitter and only 2 cappers. I think that's pretty good value for Vaso de Leche. And Fear Factory, though, still has 60% of the bonus. They're going to... Rochelle is separated from the team. They take advantage of it. And the slam goes out. They're not clearing it. They got a little overzealous here, separating to try to find pills. And they pull away about 8% more on top of that last hit. And Vaso de Leche finding good value on these hits after their tank here, Ray.
Reloading.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, this is something where if you have an SI team that knows how to hit, you just can kind of go in sequentially at the same time. It's because you've done, you know, essentially 5,000 SI attacks together or whatever you've done with the same people. And that's why even on the survivor side right now, despite being, you know, credentialed in the way that they are with Fear Factory having 1 different 20s and all that, you know, they still have a lot of respect they show on the survivor side. It's because of situations like this. Even with that hit being what it was, you saw the damage go out onto Ryzen there a little bit, and then Chris, you know, he is bleeding, so even though they still have 500 bonus, relatively speaking for a match at this level, MK, people have to remember these are 2 teams that are very, very good on the survivor side, and whoever has the more opportunistic special infected who can also, you know, genuinely hit together repeatedly, right, with some kind of chemistry is the team that's going to win. Let's see what happens here with this quad head going in. Smoke is going to land. Jockey lands as well. Charger lands. That's a triple cap going in. MK, not the quad, but that Charger is also going to go, and it's like magic watching special infected at this level. I want to see what Fear Factory does on their SI side as well, but that's why Vaso de Leche manages to keep games competitive against the best teams in the world.
Yeah, I mean, if you do the evaluation of the damage they hit every time before they got into post-tank, it just kept, nicely done by the survivors. Get in there and lock up the 464 bonus, 2 chapter score 1872. But no, I mean, Rails, to be honest, after the tank was dead, I think every single hit did about 8%. Every single one. The infected took advantage of the separation twice after the tank, and then when they triggered the event, it's really hard not to take damage when you have Horde coming in there, and it was a nice 2-cap, but it's just consistent. So Vaso de Leche kept a special infected damage on par after the tank, and Fear Factory's going to have to return the favor, in my opinion, here, Rails, or they just got to do a little bit more damage with the tank, in my opinion.
Yes, I completely agree, Battle. I mean, MK.
That's a good
Basically,
one
what
too.
they-
That's a good one.
But they listen. Hey, respect it. You know, I think about that man sometimes in his legendary UK also UK derived shoutcasts.
I love him. I miss
But
him. Man.
at the
Shout out
same-
to Battle.
Shout out to Battle on Dragon, yeah. No, what I was gonna say is on Fear Factory side of things, there are ways to get an in cap and a kill with a car above ground here, and then on Survivor side, I don't know if they're going to be given the same opportunity to push in that way, because I think there's a way for the tank to guarantee the survivors have to fight up top versus that kind of run there. First hit is going to go in though with the pound spit managing to land and a little bit more damage going out than I think the survivors might have wanted. It's just about 28 in total, but you're going to see the survivors push and spawn this tanker without any other kind of interruption, I would say, and after that, I guess we'll see what happens, because the spawn timers are coming up, and they are a little split right now, not gonna lie.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he can't get him. Oh, he got him. Oh my goodness. A little late here, and I think they should be able to get out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's why that's not that scary. Like, it looked bad, but then the smoker's gonna go and is gonna land as well onto Rochelle. And it's not really the apocalypse, because unless Chris got some absolutely insane car here, like it has a non-0% chance of happening, but really the way that this goes badly for the survivors, MK, I gotta be honest with you, is if they just get, it's plain and simple, if they get separated somehow and then get either double capped or somehow isolated with a hittable, that's the one way this goes wrong. Unless they do some insane, let's catch a boomer in an open area and get double or triple boomed here, but that doesn't usually happen, you know what I mean? Like, usually the way it goes badly is if they position themselves wrong, and this hittable's gonna go in and have the exact effect that I was talking about. MK, I refuse to say it's a caster curse, it's just how Left 4 Dead is. Hit's gonna go in as well, charge is gonna land, and this is gonna be Chris managing to catch Ellis out of position there with a beautiful hittable. That rock lands, that punch lands. He's got the corner onto Rochelle, turning it back around. Now he's actually going for the grind out onto Rochelle instead of going for their survivors. Safe play made. He still has 3,500 HP, and MK, this is exactly what I was talking about. If they got caught out of position just a little bit, they were going to get punished for it, and now they're going to be down by just about 900 points when all of this is said and done, just because Chris is in the right place at the right time. And there's that chemistry as well, as the survivors did get capped by the car in the first place, just because Left 4 Dead is the game it is, and that also didn't catch Coach, because nothing makes any sense. That punch does, though. And yeah, that's what I mean, MK. And I think, honestly, that's why Fear Factory pushed down there, because it is possible to have a hittable cause Armageddon in that tank fight. That's exactly what Chris took advantage of. That's a great tank.
Oh my goodness, great tank. That is a game changer for his team. They are the #1 seed for a reason, and they want to hold on to that at least for one more week, and it looks like they are going to do so with this Delta, but they do still have 3 more chapters left to go total, maybe just 2, but there is 3 set to be played. So they do have another early tank though, Rails. Look at this 30%. So if you are rooting for Vaso de Leche, they have the opportunity. It's just they got to take advantage of it with their special infected, get a wipe here, and then make it to the safe room, because if they get a wipe at this tank, Rails, they'll get another 200 points. So they'll have about 2270 or 2070. And then if they could just make it to the safe room, they could bring it within just a couple of hundred, but they gotta perform. See what they do. Ready, up, go. Tank at 30. Jockey Boomer, Smoker Charger, opening hit.
It was like a delayed reaction last chapter, honestly, because of how the hit went in when the survivors were on the ladder spawning the tank. To them just not being able to get set up and then meeting the hittable in the open there. But it's something now where on Survivor side, that's why you see this first position play from Hikaru. No Hydro, obviously, in Fear Factory's lineup today. He is going to get pulled into a charger with just a little bit of damage going out because there is no spitter. Boomer is going to still be in the spawn queue, MK, just because, there's an alarm car here, and they need to do work. Like 3 in caps minimum on Vaso de Leche's side to have a realistic chance of winning this.
Hey, look out!
Where are they going to take this tank? They're going to fight it in the room. Very dark in that room, though, but they can fight it in there.
Yeah, this tank in the hands of 5150, he just needs to start by getting an effective corner on somebody who isn't 5 punches. So he can't go for Chris and he can't go for Gosu either. He has to go for either Rising or Hikaru. and then the SI have to land. Like, I've seen wipes in this room. It's rare, probably like 20% of the time at this level, and it's like, okay, you know, the way it happens is somebody gets early cornered, and then other people just get, like, triple or double capped. It's very, very basic. That rock does manage to land onto Chris, who's going for a little bit of chip. And, right, I mean, here comes the actual tank, though, because he's going to try to do exactly what I was saying there. Managing to go on to Hikaru. There's the 100 gun. They went early with the score level, and they do manage to get the double cap. I don't know about that, honestly, MK. I get it for what they were looking to do there, because they wanted to try to get the pinners while the tank was, you know, occupying one of the other survivors, but I really think they should have waited maybe one more punch on the SI side of things. I was a little caught off guard that they went in then.
Yeah, it's still really good damage because they needed more rails. It's not enough, I don't think. They needed to get a lot more damage. The DB is still protected as well without getting the in-cap. I like the idea of Fresh Love, but damage bonus goes down twice as fast as health bonus. But they're going to send the spawns in. The Hunter finds the target. No speed. Boomer is successful as well as the spit. And good follow-up from the tank with the 2-2 taking almost about 6% down. They eat the pills, which makes it a much more effective hit. And Akaru's going to have to eat too, so actually, when the pills are eaten, that's going to be about 12% hit in 2-2. That's pretty good value. Oh, he's got to run for the spit.
Chris is trying to eat the spit damage. I mean, that's the right call, because you don't want to have to wait another hit there, especially when now it's a Charger, a Smoker, and a Doc going in. On the side of Vaso de Leche. Charger's not going to land really, though. That's going to be the Smoker getting cleared as well. Spit doesn't get much of anything, MK, and unfortunately, you know, for those who are rooting for Vaso de Leche, it doesn't look good at this point, because, you know, their hits have been pretty consistent, and there's also a couple times per map, maybe one hit or something, where, you know, Fear Factor, I think, dictates the pace in a way that's just a little bit ahead of where they are, and now the survivors are really moving as they want to. MK, and that's like one of those signs that you have, you know, Fear Factory being who they are. There you go again, right? Smoker gets shut down, really nothing else to be said on that 2-2, just not doing a lot of damage, and they're going to be moving to the safe room still with 490 bonus. There need to be a bit more from that tank from Vaso de Leche, kind of as I alluded to at the start of this half map, right? And even we might still, like, there's a chance we see the finale, but right now, depending on what happens on this survivor side, it might not be that close.
They scramble. The Hunter peppermint patty from Charlie Brown, one of the infected, the Charger misses. They'll get just pennies on the dollar for the hit there, and that's 480 bonus.
What does it mean? The peppermint patty somebody in this game.
Oh, Charlie Brown, you pull the football out when you try to kick him.
Yeah,
the Hunter took
I
the
know
Charger
that one.
target.
Yeah, that one I know. Yeah.
Yeah, the Charger wanted it, and also there was a couple hits there from Vaso de Leche that I gotta be honest, Rails, I think they left some damage on the board. The opening hit, they did the good job on pulling for the Charger, but the Charger was like chest bumping the Survivor, and just in my opinion, you should M2 charge just to get that 17 damage without the spit. Just my opinion from seeing it. Just a couple of points left on the board for a couple of the attacks, allowing Fear Factory to walk in with 484. That's big for them, and look at the delta now, Rails, 2,000 and about 40 points. That's a lot.
Yeah, and with the tank being what it is next map, like, that tank is just not impossible, but like close to impossible at the higher the top level, especially in a tournament like this. You know, where you have these two teams that are playing against each other who have been in the competitive scene for years upon years at this point. And it's just not the tank you want to bet on. So they need to shut down Rising's tank here, and then they also need to find a way next map to make use of a tank that usually gets, like, I don't know, 3 punches, maybe 2, maybe an in-cap if people are lucky sometimes. And we'll see if they can do that or not as the stick goes in. Let's see exactly how much damage this are able to get. The answer is going to be, not a whole lot. Quick clears, they're not getting up that guy.
No, the clears are good. I think most of the damage came from the common, from the boom, to be honest with you. And it looks like they're going to get this tank up, and they're going to take it in the same room. And I talk about this a lot with 9-0 in here, Rails, when we cast matches like this. This is just one of those tanks where you're going to get cornered no matter what, and it's just 3-on-3 then when the SI comes in. And you gotta win your 1v1s and Survivor, because if everybody loses, you die.
Well, yeah, and I think the reason that I was caught off guard last half when it was Vaso de Leche's tag, not this Fear Factory tank in the hands of Rising, right? Was solely because you kind of want to wait until you have the 4-on-3 in the room. But if you see like an opportunity maybe to get a stumble or something, you can go for that. But the traditional idea is that on Survivor side is to try to melt the tank with your shotguns as fast as possible, almost Left 4 Dead 1 style, you know, to then force the SI in. And that's kind of what's happening now because you have the double cap happening, triple cap going in, and the tank getting the corner. That is exactly what I was talking about because you have Rising able to get that in cap with way better health, and then you have opportunistic special infected. That is why the Hunter and the Jockey went. I saw that happen just in perfect sequence there, MK, because you had the separation illustrated there, and on this ping, as I said, it's harder to get those clears. What a gorgeous wipe by Fear Factory. 2,956 to 10-10 over Team Vaso de Leche. That's incredible, MK, and that's exactly why people watch competitive Left 4 Dead 2. For SI, that's that on point.
Yeah, I mean, we literally right before we commit, we were just talking about it, Rails. We're like, when you go in with these kind of tanks, you get your own corner guaranteed, and then it's 3v3 with the SI and the survivors, and that's just an example of all the SI winning and the survivors losing all their 1v1s. And unfortunately, that's the result. You die. There is no in between. You get tri-cap the tank, you usually die.
The thing is, I think they were hyper focused on killing the tank in that room, which makes sense because you're on ping, you're against a great team, and you have, you know, this fear that if you don't drill the tank the same way their tank got drilled, because their tank took a lot more damage, and I think their tank was at like 1,500 to 2K when he was getting his partial in cap or whatever that was on Vaso de Leche's side before the gorgeous, you know, tri-cap wipe that we just witnessed, you know. But you can't overcompensate for that by taking your eyes off the SI, and there was nobody really focusing the SI. They landed in sequence, and that's why that tri-cap was so devastating. We do have a double cap here landing on this, the 4th map of Open Road, in the playoffs of the North American ReBooT 2025. MK, it's just about like 40-some damage, so again, not bad, but this is why you can't bet on this tank at 61% because it's such a brutal tank to play on special infected side.
And not only is it brutal, but you're going to be fighting this tank in the safe room. You're going to run this thing all the way back for sure, unless they have to go over the one-way drop. Because the tank fight in this safe room is almost useless.
That's why it's so brutal, because it's that huge open area that nobody's able to really land in. Like, you can set the tank up for maybe an in-cap, maybe. But even then, there's chances of the survivor getting hit away. You have to throw, like, a rock in order to keep them in place and just get drilled by the SI as other things are... Or not by the SI, by the survivors as other things are dead. And it's just like, all right, then, you know, do what you can with what you have in terms of that opportunity. But this is why I said they can't really bet on it. Like, it would be absolutely mind-blowing to me if they even got... like 3 in caps here on this, and they need like a wipe.
Yeah, they need a wipe for sure. I mean, not only do they need a wipe, but they need like 80% bonus as well. But for now, we'll take this attack as the call to go as Pee-wee. The Hunter or Smoker spawns up first by himself. The Hunter's now making his way in. Smoker misses. The Hunter does find a target. It's not speeded. 2 dings of spit damage. Smoker full at the end, cleaned up quite nicely. Not much they can do with the spawns that they had, but we'll see if they get one more before tank. But one thing that I want to note, Rails, there was a record broken in this tournament. There was the highest health bonus for a single chapter, and it was scored 95.9% bonus is what the one team got. And the other team got 88.9, so you can imagine what that first chapter score was, as Masana has the tank for Vaso de Leche.
I want to know what team actually set the record.
It was between Judgment. They were the team that scored 88%, and I'd have to go back and look.
Are you absolutely sure that
yes.
that Relapse / Pubstar hasn't done it at some point?
Well, I mean, in Left 4 Dead, we call perfect score anything but the pill bonus. So 90.9 is what 100% is without the pill bonus. So if you get anything over 90.9, it's pretty much a perfect chapter. That's what we call it. Now, If you want a perfect chapter with no damage going out, I don't think that's possible at all because
Well,
there's
okay,
a
no,
tank.
because if you're saying the benchmark is 90.9%, right, of the health bonus?
90.9.
Yeah. So
Yes.
there's some match that they played, and there's one other example. There's two games that come to mind where people may have actually exceeded that, from what I remember. Because there's one game on Sacrifice. I think it was Pacifice, but it was the Sacrifice part of it
Uh-huh.
that Pupstar played. That was insane. And then there was a Dark Carnival game back in the day that was played by, I want to say it was like Velocity or something like that. Against the newer team, and it was just crazy. But this tank is quitting right now for Vaso de Leche. Evil Manzano, not Manzano, of course. And there is going to be a triple cap landing in tandem here, but this is the thing about this area, MK. Even with all three pinners landing and the jockey's still going, I mean, it has white potential, don't get me wrong, but like, this is why it's a little dangerous, but this smoker is going to manage to land. Rock is going to go in. It's two in caps, but it's so hard to secure a wipe here because even with all three pinners landing, MK, you saw that because it's kind of wide open there, the Uzis were able to get these clears that were so important, you know, and it was perfect special infected play. But that's why, like I said, this map is a little limited when it comes to its like let's turn the game around potential just by nature of the map itself, and that's why honestly they were able to get those clears. I really can't say anything bad about the special infected at all from Vaso de Leche. That was a splendid tri-cap, but that's the thing, MK. The map itself has a limitation there. It's just so hard to get things to go right on special infected side here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was a great tri-cap, but the tank had to push two of the survivors into a double cap because they were distracted. And you know, if the other two survivors are separated, and the tank's not with the other capper, they're going to get cleared. Phenomenal damage, don't get me wrong. It's a really good tank for that area, but when you're down over 2k, you need more, and they're going to rocket the charger in, not find a target. Spinner gets picked for it. They spit, jockey melted, and the smoker killed off at the end. So it's going to be a 2-2. Hunter, Charger, and Jockey and Boomer coming up for the next set of spawns. And they eat the pills, so only about 3% with that hit. And to be honest with you, Rails, I don't think Fear Factory is too worried about bonus. They'll be perfectly happy with the distance.
Oh yeah, and they're just gonna keep motoring their way here. That's what they should be doing. It's again, you know, if they had maybe one other survivor in bleed and no pills, that's a different story with how much they still have to go, but it's pretty smooth sailing here. Especially with Hikaru getting a skeet like that. That's the kind of shutdown potential, and that's what I like about this iteration of Fear Factory. Because back in the day, even when we won the Maze Cup 1 or whatever, right, it was like, okay, it was Chris and Manzano doing the lion's share of everything here. Here, Chris definitely still has an impact that's noticeable, but everybody on the team is making evenly distributed plays like that. You know, that is a sign of a team that has the chance to really win the tourney. Even without Hydra in the lineup today at Fear Factory, everybody's been on point. It's really cool to see that kind of cohesion.
It is, but they're coming up on hitting on the survivors' terms now. That attack is just kind of thrown away, and it kind of looks like that Vaso de Leche is kind of yielding the white flag here as far as trying to set up with a special infected. They know that it's probably inevitable that they're going to fall to the loser bracket with only one more choke point that's beneficial for them, and that's this transition over the underpass. And also, like you were saying, Fear Factory does have a first place win, looking to get their second, and Vaso de Leche looking to get their first. They haven't gotten one yet, but let's see what happened with this game. We already know the outcome, but
well, the other thing though is, you know, Chris has been playing at a high level for a while, but I remember him being in the semifinals of
You got goo coming.
RBT4, right, against my team IBP at that point when he was playing with Dusty. And it was one of those things where it was just like, okay, you know, he's somebody who's extremely smart as a captain, as a player, and in terms of playing that cohesion. Manzano was also extremely good, you know, for an extended period of time. But Vaso de Leche, like I said, when they're doing the right things by keeping their lineup kind of cohesive, because they're also living in the Hokori and the GOAT era, you know what I mean? And that's why I was like, okay, Maze Cup 1 was Fear Factory, Maze Cup 2 was Hokori. You know, the reason for that is because Hokori has won as many tournaments as they have, including RBT7, and Fear Factory with a lineup like this, that's who they're trying to challenge in this tournament right now. And them getting 4,176 points on open road against a team that's good, in terms of Vaso de Leche, Vaso de Leche, I should say, but in terms of how they performed here, like this is no joke, and if they're playing this well as they progress, they're going to be very, very challenging for Hikori in this tournament. We'll see exactly who's able to bring that home.
Yeah, we'll see, but we'll see what the opening attack will do first from Fear Factory, and definitely in cruise control for this match. We're going to pre-spawn jockey rockets around the side, and it takes some damage. Trying to top this mover. Jockey gets shot in the ass cheek as Nickers find me. Hunter pouncing around. Gets blasted a little bit to Jockey. Yep. And Hunter finds his target, so does the spit. And the spitter's gonna do a nice jump on top. Oh, look at the damage in the death spit. Stumbles. Oh, he might be slow after this. And no, he won't, but this is take 5150 all the way down to 56 HP. What a opening attack there, Rails. Good damage from that kid too.
Yep, and that is just another example of finding ways to get damage, because let's just put all of the SI on one person in sequence and see how much damage we can do. It almost knocks him down, like you said, to where he was almost slow. And now this target's gonna go as well, gets 2 punches and then gets speared. The smoke does land. Spit goes down on nothing.
Reloading.
But after the first hit, they can afford to have just a little bit of damage on that one, before they even get close to the tank, just because they have the right to do so. They're ahead by just about 3,000 points as of right now, and I don't think we're going to need to see the finale unless both teams want to play it, in which case they can be our guests. But this is the kind of control that Fear Factory puts teams under, just because Chris especially has had that experience of playing. Rising has as well at this point, but against very, very, very high-level opposition for an extended period of time, and that's why it's not cruise control. It's just it becomes, you kind of know what to do in different situations, and then you have like the privilege of being able to do more with a lead like this. Let's see what happens now. The Survivor's going to try to go backward with a jockey and a charger and a tank, of course, for Fear Factory up into the hands of Hikaru.
He's got a long way to run to catch up. Look at this. This is a good example of what I'm talking about. They're a little bit separated, and when you have these top-tier teams play here, Rails, they'll take advantage of whatever survivor is separated. It wasn't even a big separation, but it was enough to get some scratches in there. I think they got over 20 damage off of a survivor, and 20 damage with a 3 cap with a tank when the survivors are running back. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that. It's just free damage on the board.
Well, no, and that's the thing about cohesion, because you just find ways to materialize damage like that while playing as a team in actual matches. It happens at different levels, and at the top level, it's something. It is how it is, and sometimes it happens in different ways. Where you have some teams like Evo come to mind, who would be able to find somebody isolated and just have their pinner win the one-on-one in different scenarios or something like that. But here, it's like, if you can have 2 SI that can go on one survivor and find a way to get that damage, the game is so fast-paced nowadays that, that's how you get damage against these extremely good teams, because everybody on Cedar Center here would be just rocking the game out of their minds. And this is going to be a nice early pounce going on to Coach, as the tank is also doing work. This is an amazing amount of damage with the SI going in the way that they have. Smoke is going to get a pull as well, and the tank is going to take that as his target. Charger's also going to land. This is such a great tank coming out from Hikaru, as Fear Factory have found that way to capitalize on the separation. There is another punch going as the tank is basically hopping around, spreading the damage. Oh my goodness, MK, that is carnage from Fear Factory onto Team Vaso de Leche.
Oh my goodness, it is. Look at the damage evaluation. That is over 50% damage from a tank that probably should only get 1 or 2 hits. And their pings are not very high either. They're not terribly low, but not high either. And Fear Factory just came to play, and Vaso de Leche got caught with their pants down, Rails. It is what it is.
Yeah, the positioning, once again, is kind of interesting there. And that's why when we were watching the map in before, you would ask me which map you thought was going to be chosen, or what map I thought was going to be chosen between these two, right? Open Road and Dark Carnival. And the reason I changed my mind, I originally said that maybe Fear Factory would prefer the game on Dark Carnival, was because, okay, whatever. But Open Road, it seems like the people on Fear Factory are much more familiar with it in some ways in Vaso de Leche. Like, it's still played in pubs, but on a team versus team thing, it just seems like it was, you know, pretty much automatic for Fear Factory to make the calls that they did, especially map 2, which is when the game kind of got out of hand. But, you know, Vaso de Leche, they're going to take something away from this and just, you know, next time they're in a situation like that, like, I don't know if it's something they could have changed during the map ban portion of things, but from a gameplay perspective, they can take something away from this in terms of team play on this map.
Yeah, it's only about 20% left to go through. The bonus is pretty much non-existent as far as health bonus. It's almost all damage bonus except for Nick is the only one with a sliver. Jockey is now spawned up. They seem to be hunting down the Jockey, but none of the other spawns choose to go. It's only a 2-2. It's what we like to call it Utu. I know I don't know if you like that reference, Rails, but I think it's funny. But the more that I've seen this attack, Rails, the Jockey and the Smoker combination with the really good teams, I love to see what they do and to get damage out of it.
The person who I imagine when you say Pluto reacting to that, or just sitting there like nodding back and forth like doing the Gen 2 stare, is actually Dawkins, even though he is a Gen 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that is, yeah, that's what I imagine. But, you know, regardless of that, this last hit for Fear Factory is going in, getting a little bit of damage there from the common chip. The XD is going out in infected chat as well. But that's going to be the in-cap going on for Rochelle. The GGs are going out, and Fear Factory are moving on, MK, with a very impressive win.
Yep.
4,000. On a
On
map that they just kind of controlled near the end of it, yeah.
I believe, what's the final score going to be? It is
4,176 to 1,794. Fear Factory look, and they are, you know,
dominant.
behaving exactly as a #1 seed should be, exactly.